Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be doing a 2022 reading wrap up. So this is a very late video. I was supposed to film this by the end of 2022, but I was away for vacation. And so I don't have the time to film any video. And so I'm gonna be filming it right now. I'm very excited because this is the video that I've been anticipating to make for the whole year. I read a total of 71 books in 2022, and my reading goal for 2022 is actually 70 books. I read one extra book for 2022, which is so weird. I'm not gonna talk in detail because it's a lot of books. Yeah, I'm very excited and I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And yeah, let's get started. So the first book I read is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I think I started this book by the end of 2021, so I finished it at the start of 2022. And I rated this book 3 stars. It was okay, but I feel like if I reread this book again, I might rate it higher. It's very complex, it's very unique, and it's not just a romance book. Then I read a Colleen Hoover book, which is Losing Hope, and that is actually the second book of a duology. The first book is Hopeless. Losing Hope is basically the same exact story, just in the guy's point of view, and it is so much sadder. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. It is so good and I loved it more than Hopeless. Then I read kind of 2 novellas by Colleen Hoover because I was trying to finish as many books as I can, right? So I picked up very short books. These are very short books, and I read Finding Perfect. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, or is it 3 out of 5 stars? I feel like it's 3. It was an okay book. It's very fast-paced, but you don't feel any sense of connection with the characters, so that's probably why. Considering it's a very short book, it's still good. So you need to read Hopeless first to kind of understand the whole situation in this book. And then I read Finding Cinderella, which is actually a novella for Hopeless and All You're Perfect by Colleen Hoover. I love it. I feel like I love it so much more. I kind of cried by the end of the book from what I remembered. I read it while I was on the plane. Such a happy ending, and you finally get the closure you wanted for Quinn and Graham. So I rated the book 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. This is a classic book. It's kind of hard for me to understand a few things, and I kind of got lost a little bit, but I love the overall vibe. So I rated it 3.5 to 5. Then I read my first 5-star read in 2022, which is Addicted After All by Kristen Becker-Ritchie. It's a part of the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series, and this focuses on one of the couples, Lily and Lauren, which is my favorite. One of the best books ever. I love it so much, and I want a love like Lily and Lauren. They're amazing. And then I read One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is a mystery book, murder mystery. There's also a Netflix TV show for it, and it's so good. You guys have to watch it, and you guys also have to read the book. It's very fun. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, but I feel like the show's better. Then I read the first self-help book in 2022, which is How to Be Yourself. The author is Ellen Hendrickson, and this is a book where it talks about social anxiety, awkwardness, and I forgot anxiety, I guess. And it just tells you the source of where those things come from and how to overcome it. I think this book helps me a lot. 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read What on Earth Am I Here For by Rick Warren, and it's so good. It tells you about the purpose in life and everything else. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I read another romance book, which is A Risk Gone Forever by Annis Perkins, and it's a very good romance book. The guy's a pilot from what I remembered, and they started off kind of enemies. I don't really remember much from this book, but I remembered enjoying it, so I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. I cried so much in this book. It's a very, very sad book. YA romance as well. 4 out of 5 stars. I read To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. It's another romance book. It has the brothers best friend trope. 4 out of 5 stars. It's also a duology, so you can read the second book, but I have not read the second book yet, so. Then I read The Love Hypothesis by Ailey Hazelwood. I love this book. 4.5 out of 5 stars. It has the teacher-student trope, not in an illegal or bad way though, and it also has a grumpy sergeant trope, which I really love. Then I read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm not as obsessed with this book as everybody else, but it's a very good book, so 3.5 out of 5. I read Fable by Adrienne Young. It's a fantasy book. It has pirates in it, and the found family trope's amazing. I love the characters. I love the whole storyline, and there's also the second book, but I haven't read it yet, so. And then I read Dirty Letters by V. Keelan. It's an okay book. It's very weird. 3 out of 5 stars. It's a very random romance book that I picked up. It has the pen pal best friend type of situation, kind of like Punk 57. The next book I read is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. 100 out of 5 5 out of 5. I love this book so much, one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and it's so interesting. I've never read a book like this before, and I cried so much. It's insane. This book's insane, and I haven't reread it yet. One of my all-time favorite books ever. So good. The next book I read is another self-help book. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and it's very helpful, but I'm still socially awkward, and I still struggle talking to people. So then I read Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, 5 out of 5. Such a good book and very emotional. It has a lot of the mother and daughter relationship and also a little bit of romance. So good. Then I read one of my all-time favorite books ever, Daisy Jones and the Six. No, I actually read this in 2021, but I reread it. So I read this book 2 times. Wait, no, I actually read both times in the same year. If someone asked me like what's my favorite book, I would say Daisy Jones and Six, like in an instant. And the show's coming out on March. So excited. It's about a band and this it girl, Daisy Jones, and you basically go through life with them. It's a very character-driven book and I loved it. And then I read Twisted Love, which is a part of the Twisted series. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. So good. It kind of got me out of a reading slump because I was in a reading slump at that time. And then I read Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I'm not trying to promote this book because I've heard that the author is problematic. I'm not sure. I think I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like the part in this book where it's in court, where they are in court, is so fun and engaging and very like full of tension and all those things. But before that, it was very, very slow paced and boring for me. But overall, I enjoyed it. Then I read Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, another 5 out of 5 from her. I love this book so much and I feel like I relate to one of the characters so much. Nina Riva, she's one of my all-time favorite and comfort characters. Basically, this whole book talks about this like one family, the Riva family, and you go through life with them as well. And then I read another romance book, Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This is a very like normal romance book. Like I'm not obsessed with it, and there are some things that I just don't like in this book, so 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Feel the Fire by Kristen Beccarucci, another from the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Not my favorite book of Connor and Rose, but I still love them very much, and this book's amazing. And then I read the second book of the Twisted series, which is Twisted Games, which is also my favorite book from the whole Twisted series. I haven't read the 4th book yet though, and this book revolves around a bodyguard and a princess, and it has the grumpy sentient trope again, kind of like enemies to lovers as well. And then I read By Your Side by Casey West. It's a YA romance, and I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. It's very enjoyable. The next book I read is Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. It's a classic book, I think. Yes, it is, and I rated it like 3 out of 5 stars. It is overall enjoyable, but I just don't love it that much, you know. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. This is the only book I've ever DNF'd in my life. I just cannot get myself to DNF books, but I DNF this book because I've had enough of it. I'm like, I don't hate this book, I don't. I just personally think it's boring, and I just don't find the plot interesting at all. It's very like bland and just like flat. I don't know. Maybe that's just me because I've heard so many people loving this book. I don't. 2 out of 5 stars. Then I read Terms and Condition by Lauren Asher. The second book of the Billionaire series has the Grumpy Sunshine. No, it has the Marriage of Convenience trope, and I love it so much. 4 out of 5 stars. I read The Secret of Nightingale Wood by Lucy Strange. This is a random book that I picked up just for the sake of buying books, and I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I hated the way this book made me feel. Like, it's very creepy. This book is very creepy. I did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be like a very cute, beautiful book. No, it's not. It's so like thrillery kind of. It's not scary though. It's just does not give me a feeling of ease, if that makes sense. I read The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, also another one, a part of a series. I overall enjoyed it. I think it's like 3 out of 5 stars, 3.5 out of 5. I love the characters, but it was just like a very classic romance, you know. Then I read Looking for Alaska by John Green. It was also another okay book, 3.5 out of 5. Then I read the Off Campus series. The first book is The Deal, and I rated it 4.5 out of 5. I love the characters so much. Hannah Wiles is one of my all-time favorite characters as well, and it's a hockey romance. Then I read Whatever It Takes by Kristen Beccarucci, which is actually a part of the Bad Reputation Duet series. I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I feel like I'll rate it 5 stars if I reread the book, because Willow and Garrison, which is the couple in that book, is one of my all-time favorite couples. No one beats them. Like, I just love them so much. And then the next book I read is The Scorched Trials by Jane Stashner. And this is like the second book of the Maze Runner series. So bad. I'm sorry. It's so boring and I just barely understood what's happening because of how boring it is. 2 or 1.5 out of 5. And then I read the second book of the Off-Campus series, which is A Mistake, and I don't really like it. Like, I'm not that attached with the characters, so I rated it like 3.5 out of 5. I read Caraval, which is another fantasy book. It has magical things in this book. 3 out of 5 stars. It's overall enjoyable, but I'm like not obsessed with it, not as much as what other people are saying, which is so unfortunate. I read the third book of the Twisted series, which is Twisted Hate, and I love it. It has the enemies to lovers trope, but so much spice though. I rated it like 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read a YA romance, which is The Upside of Falling by Alex Light, and it's a very cute book. I remember like smiling and grinning a lot. I think I rated it like 3.5 out of 5. The next book I read is a very depressing one, and it is How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glasgow. 4 out of 5 stars. Very depressing. I did not like the feeling it gave me throughout the whole book. And then I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. 5 out of 5. You know how people like always say that this book's like kind of like a warm hug, kind of like a big sister giving advices? That is exactly the way how I would describe this book as well. So the next book I read is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I barely understood what happened in this book. 3 out of 5. I rated it 3 out of 5, but now that I think of it, like it's like 2 out of 5. I just don't understand anything in this book. The next book I read is Long Way Down by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and I rated it like 4 out of 5 stars. This mainly focuses on the couple Daisy, Calloway, and Reich. The next book I read is Siege and Storm, which is a part of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and it's enjoyable only because Nikolai was there. Like, Nikolai is the only tolerable character in this book. Like, he's the only interesting one, and I rated it like 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It's a very, very good book, and I love the characters. I love the whole idea of it. I rated it like 4 out of 5 stars. Then I started the Folk of the Air series by reading the first book, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. So good. Then I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't like this book. It's not that I hate it, it's just like it's so boring. I don't understand why people find it interesting and fun. I rated it like 3 out of 5 stars because it was like easy to go through, but that's like the gist of it. I just don't find anything interesting in this book. Oh, except for Jameson and Grayson. They're hot. And then I read the second book of the Bad Repetition duet, which is Wherever You Are. Infinity out of 5. I love Garrison and Willow so much, and this book just heightens my love for them. I love it so much. And then I read Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington, and it's a very interesting romance book, not something that I've read about. If you're bored with like the whole repetitive plot of romance books, you should definitely read this book because it's like different, and I rated it like 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Sidetracked by Saint Abby, which is a part of a series, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read the second book, I think, The Risk, 4 out of 5 stars. Third book is Scarlet Angel, 4 out of 5 stars. I constantly rated every single book in the Mindfuck series 4 out of 5 stars because like I don't know why, I just like it's never a 5 out of 5. There are so many like plot twists and it's so insane and it just messes your mind in the best possible way. I don't know how to explain it. You have to read the series. Each and every single book's like a very short book, like 100 to 200 pages only, but you can read the whole series in like one thick binded book, but I read it separately because it just helps me read faster in a way. So yeah, and then I read The Queen's Gambit, 5 out of 5. I did not expect this to be like so good. I thought it was gonna be like one of those classic books that I just like can't understand, and it's just like very slow. This book is so fun, like, and it's so good, and I loved it, and also the TV show is so good. I read another YA romance, which is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and I rated this book like 4.5 out of 5. So good, so cute. I love the characters, and there's so many like references of Taylor Swift and like song lyrics that I love, and also like movies that I love. Like if you enjoy watching 10 Things I Hate About You, there is like a few quotes in here about it, which is so cool. And there are a lot of like other rom-com quotes in this book, like if you've watched 27 Dresses and everything else like that, like it's all here. And then I read Ruin and Rising, which is the third book of the Shadow and Bone series. 2 out of 5 stars, very boring. I read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. It's kind of like the continuation or the epilogue for It Ends With Us, and I loved it. It's very enjoyable, and I love Lily and Atlas here. 4 out of 5 stars. I read You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle, and it's a kind of like a rom-com-y type of book. So good. I rated it like 5 out of 5 originally, but I think looking back I would rate it like 4.5 out of 5. I read A Mission for Meaning by Gabriel Conti, which is actually one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. I love Jess and Gabriel Conti so much, like they're my comfort YouTubers, and he wrote this book and it teaches me so many things, and I loved it so much. 4 out of 5 stars. I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, and it's another like enemies to lovers. It's not as good as like what I thought it would be. Like a lot of people really hype this up and love it so much. Like it's an okay book for me. Like it's 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read The Shatter Me. And then I read the Shatter Me book, the first book. It's a dystopian book and it has like romance in it as well, and like a lot of action-packed stuff, but I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read an Indonesian book, which is Helmi Milan. I love the romance so much. I love the characters. I really love their personalities for some reason. I don't know, it's a very good book. And then I kind of stopped reading the Mindfuck series earlier, right? And then I finished the last 2 books, which is All the Lies, 4 out of 5, and Paint It All Red, 4 out of 5 again. I think. I'm not sure. I really can't remember like what happens in every single book because it's just all like jumbled and combined. But overall, I really enjoyed the series. Like not insanely obsessed with it, but it's still so good. And then I continued reading the Shatter Me series. So the next book I read is Destroy Me. I think I rated it 5 out of 5 because it is in Aaron Warner's point of view, and Aaron Warner is so hot, and I was like obsessed with him by the second book. So I was like, you know what, 5 out of 5. And if you've read the book, like you know what happens in the last part with the dog thing, that just kind of like tops it all up. So then I read Unravel Me, which is a very close 5 out of 5, but I think it's like 4.7 out of 5, I don't know. And then I read Fracture Me, which is an Adam's point of view, and if you don't know, like Adam's like one of the most hated characters, and I understand why. At first I kind of liked him. I hated myself for liking him because like I know a lot of people hated him, and I know that he probably did something wrong, but in the first book he's so sweet and I kind of like him. But then in this like point of view of his, I hated him so much. Like he's just trash and such a jerk. So I rated the book like 2 out of 5 stars. I don't like it. And then I read Ignite Me, which is where I stopped reading Shatter Me. I still need to continue the series though, and I rated this book like 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was gonna be 5 out of 5, but honestly, I'm so sorry. I kind of find Juliet annoying here for some reason. Like I tried my best to not find her annoying. I really don't want to find her annoying, but I did find her annoying, and it just kind of ruins the book for me. But I hope that by the next book I won't find her annoying. I liked her, but then in this book I just kind of like had a shift of emotion. I don't know. But yeah. Then the very last book that I read in 2022 is from the Off-Campus series, which is The Score by Al Kennedy, and this book focuses on the couple Allie and Dean. I love them. It's a very good book, 4 out of 5 stars. So those are every single book I read in 2022. Again, I read a total of 71 books out of 70, which is my reading goal, and I'm very satisfied with it. In 2023, I made a goal of reading 60 books. I kind of decreased my goal because I think 2023 is going to be a very busy year for me, so I don't want to like, you know, set a goal that is too high for me. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I really miss making book videos because I haven't been making one for like such a long time, and I'm finally here again, and it's very fun filming this video. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you again for watching. Bye!